Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you my overall experience of the Majestic Mirage in Punta Cana. I was lucky enough to spend about a week there, and I thought I would let you know 10 of the things that I loved about it and 10 things that I hated about it. I know those are strong words, but here are the things that I liked and disliked about the Majestic Mirage in Punta Cana. And I'm going to get right into this list because I need to go over 20 items. So we'll start with the good stuff. The entertainment and the entertainment staff were amazing. There was always stuff going on, whether it was at the pool or at the beach or their live entertainment that they have going on in the evening. There was just so much great entertainment. So one of the fun things that they did was every day, or most of the days that I was at the beach, they did beach aerobics, but it was so fun because it was actually in the water. So if you can imagine yourself in the ocean trying to do water aerobics with, a little bit of waves going through. The waves aren't that intense in the Caribbean, but there were still waves, so it makes you a little bit unsteady. And it was just really funny. They kept it fun. We were doing like a conga line at one point in the ocean as we're exercising on the beach. It was really a good time. They also did beach volleyball, and there were just always activities going on. At the pool, they had a foam party, which me and my mom absolutely loved. We were laughing so hard. They just blow out all of this foam into the pool and play music, and everyone dances, and it's kind of like a really big bubble bath throughout the entire pool, and it's really a good time. So in the afternoon, there were always fun things going on. It's definitely family friendly. There was a section for adults only, but there was also a family area. So you'd have to seek out where they're having the foam party and where the activities are. But it's really, really a great time. In addition to that, the entertainment staff is always out and about, making sure that everyone is having a good time. They'll try to get you involved in things. If you don't want to, that's fine, but they will kind of give you that little push to, get on the conga line or get out there and dance or go in the water and do some aerobics, which is helpful for some people because some people, like myself, need that little push to actually get involved, but then you have a really great time once you decide to do so. The evening entertainment was phenomenal. They had some spectacular shows. My favorite show that they did was a Michael Jackson show, like a tribute show that they did in the evening. And the man who portrayed Michael Jackson danced just like Michael. It was so good. They did this whole Thriller skit where all of the monsters, because of course they did the Thriller dance, full cast, costumes, the whole thing. And it's a little bit of a spoiler, so if you are going there and you don't want to know about the shows, specifically what they do, you might want to stop watching right now and just skip ahead a couple of minutes. But they have all of the monster zombie people come off the stage into the crowd, and they're kind of sneaking up on people and scaring them and climbing around their seats, and it's just so hysterical. We really enjoyed that. So I realized I just spent 3 minutes talking about the entertainment. I better move on. That was one of my favorite parts about the Majestic Mirage though, so it deserved that. All right, the second thing that I really liked about the Majestic were the beach and pool areas had plenty of space, plenty of chairs. They kept it really clean. I never had to fight for a chair or a palapa or any of that, so that was wonderful. And they also had a boardwalk that went through the Majestic properties so that you could walk on the beach but actually be on a boardwalk, which was nice because I do like to go for a good walk in the morning, and it's hard to walk in flip-flops, so most of the time I put on sneakers, but then the dilemma is it's hard to walk on the beach in your sneakers. So this was perfect because this boardwalk went through the beach, so you can get a really nice ocean view and take a good walk at the same time. So that was really, really nice. I also enjoyed, this is number 3, there was an adult only lounge area on the beach. So there's one section of the beach that's just for adults, and then you have your family section. And behind the adult only beach area was this lounge that had air conditioning and seating and snacks out and drinks out all day long. You could get soda or water. You could go in there and get a sandwich or a pastry or some type of a snack. You could use the bathrooms and just cool off and get some air conditioning. So that was a really nice perk. Something else that I loved about the Majestic Mirage was the room that we were in. We were in room number 7110. It was a 1-bedroom suite. It was the Mirage Club room, and it had a jacuzzi tub and a private pool area. So the room was really spacious. It was very nice. When you walked in, there was this big living room area with a desk with some workspace, a little kitchenette, and then there was a balcony that led out to the pool. So we were on the ground level, and since our room was at the very end of the pool, it was very private because there were no rooms to the right of us. So even though the people to our left may have come out to the pool and we could have possibly seen them at some time, we never saw anyone at the pool. It felt kind of like we had the whole pool area to ourselves. So that was really nice. And the bedroom had 2 big beds. There was a big tub in the middle of the room, which was a little weird. I kind of didn't like the lack of privacy with the random tub in the middle of the room, but it really, really was a great layout, and it was a really good setup for a girls' trip. I went with my mom and my sister, so we kind of all had our own personal space. There was one room where the shower was, and then another room had the toilet, and then there was another bathroom in addition to that. So definitely plenty of space for everyone. Something else that I really liked about the Majestic Mirage was the transportation from the airport through Amstar. Now, I'm a travel agent and I set up the transfers for my clients, and we choose to use Amstar, and I was so nervous about arriving there and finding the Amstar agent and getting to the hotel in adequate time, and I really don't like it when you have to share a bus with a whole bunch of people and make multiple stops. So although we did need to make, I think, 2 stops, all of the resorts were super close to each other, and it was not all that time consuming, and that worked out really great. And then on the return back, they were waiting for us at a specific time. They told us what time we needed to be at like the front desk lobby area, and they were already there waiting. So the transfers were really smooth and easy, and Amstar really did a great job. Another plus for the Majestic Mirage is the cleaning service. The women who come to the room and clean every day, and I say women because I only saw females doing so as far as cleaning out the rooms, and they not only did such a good job in keeping it clean, they added these really nice, just unique added touches. They would put a little flower next to the toiletries on the sink. They would fold up the blankets and put them on the bed and like fan them out really pretty. And they just definitely did a little something extra just to make it feel more special. And I thought that was really nice. Something else that I loved about the Majestic Mirage in Punta Cana was the layout of the resort. It was so easy to navigate. It was so easy to figure out how to get from point A to point B. I'm the type of person that gets lost going around the block. I have no navigational skills at all, so this was super helpful to me. I had no problem finding my way around, and the property isn't so big that you can't walk all around. So I had no problem getting from my room to the beach, to the pool, to the restaurants, and everything else that they had going on, which was really, really nice. And the landscaping was so beautifully done. There were always workers outside cleaning up cigarette butts and sweeping up leaves and wiping things down. The bathrooms, the public bathroom areas were always really well kept and neat. So they did a great job with that. And then in the evening, they had this whole courtyard area that was lit up so beautifully at night, and they had live entertainment every night, and it was just really so pretty to walk through the courtyard and hear the music and just see the lights and be able to sit out there and have a drink before dinner was just really, really something that I greatly appreciated on the trip. The 8th thing that I liked about Majestic Mirage was the bartenders were so much fun. And even though there was a bit of a language barrier, they were so attentive. They would seek you out. For instance, we would maybe have a drink in the courtyard and then have dinner somewhere. And then later in the evening, we would go into the theater where they had the shows, and the courtyard is here and the theater is here. So they're kind of like right next to each other. And our bartender The girl who brought us drinks for the most part, her name was Claudia. She was amazing. She would seek us out. She already knew what we liked to drink, and she would seek us out in the theater and bring us drinks. So you really got to know your bartenders. Even the bartenders at the pool or the different tiki bars, they were always singing and dancing and having a good time, and it was just a very relaxed and fun atmosphere. The 9th thing that I loved about Majestic was the restaurants were beautiful. They were so well decorated. Just, I don't know, they all had a wow factor. When you walked into their restaurants, they were so beautiful. Chandeliers and painted murals on the walls, and it was just really, really a unique experience. They were all very different from each other, but they were all very beautiful in their own way. So I really, really did love how pretty and just how well decorated and well themed and thought out their restaurants were. Then finally, the 10th thing that I loved about Majestic Mirage was there was a whole area where you could book excursions, and they had so many different excursions to choose from. They were at different rates, so you could kind of plus up some of your excursions, and you could also kind of like take things away from them to make them more affordable or less time consuming. For instance, if you wanted to do a specific excursion, you may be able to pay extra to have food and drinks included, or different types of transportation. Maybe you were taking a bus or you were taking a catamaran. There were just a lot of different ways that you could kind of finagle the excursion to fit your needs, which I thought was really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the 10 things that I hated or disliked about the Majestic Mirage. The first thing is, when you are assigned a room, you're also assigned a butler to go along with the room to be in charge of just helping you out with basically anything that you need, letting them know what you would like your fridge stocked with, letting them know, I guess, if you're interested in excursions or spa treatments or anything like that. They're supposed to at least help and guide you. So our butler was MIA for at least the first full day, which was frustrating because especially when you first arrive is when you kind of realize that my fridge isn't stocked and I really would have liked to have this, or you know, there's something missing from the room, or you have questions. So it really would have been nice to have communication with our butler the first day when we arrived. They do give you his cell phone number, and I did reach out to him, but it took a while before we connected. So that was disappointing because I heard that some people had great experiences with their butler and they did so much for them, and they actually had like a bond, like they became friends and they helped them out through the entire trip. And we really did not have that at all. It was kind of hard to seek out our butler, and it was kind of hard to communicate too, because again, the language barrier is no joke. Okay, the second thing that I did not like was the pillows in the room were literally like little pillows like this big. It was probably a little bit smaller than if you were to cut a traditional standard pillow in half, and they weren't even thick. So they were short, little, small, flat pillows. And that just, I have never seen anything like that before. It was the weirdest thing to me that we didn't have real pillows in the room. It's almost like they took the pillows and cut them in half and gave you like a little piece of a pillow. And being a person that really likes to have like a big pillow and a full body pillow and just appreciates a good pillow in general, that was a little bit frustrating. And again, when we reached out to our butler on the first night to ask at least if we can have some more of those little teeny tiny pillows, so maybe we can like stack them up and make a real pillow. It would have been nice to at least be able to get that, but we weren't able to. It took a couple of days to get, you know, extra pillows in the room. So that was just a really weird thing that I never saw coming. The third thing that I did not like was the way that they handled dining reservations. Now, with all-inclusive resorts, it's not unusual to have to make reservations for some of the restaurants. And out of their 3 restaurants, 2 of them needed reservations. And when we arrived and the person that was checking us in, we asked them right away, like, how do we make reservations? I want to make sure that we can get a decent time in the restaurants. He said that I needed to discuss it with my butler, who I couldn't get in contact with. And then by the time I finally got in contact with him, you know, late the next day, he said to me I needed to go back to the lobby where I checked in, and there is one person there who can make your dining reservations. So I could have done it when I checked in the lobby, so I was misguided to begin with. And then when I went and waited online for 30 minutes on my first day of vacation to make reservations, the only reservations were 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, some were 9:45 at night. So it was just horrible times. And it was just frustrating to have to go through that to make a dining reservation. It would be nice if they had something on an app that you could do it more quickly and easily. The fourth thing that I didn't like, or that I just found kind of frustrating, and it has to, hello Coco. My cat's making a special appearance, but now's not the time. Okay, so this also has to do with the dining, but I thought it was really odd that the dining rooms were practically empty. So you had to make reservations, and it was really hard to get into certain restaurants. And you know, you were going at like 9:30 at night, but then when you arrived there were like 2 other tables. There was no one there. And that really frustrated me because I'm wondering, are they trying to deter you from eating at the nicer restaurants and having the better food by just limiting the amount of people they're actually seating in the restaurant? Like, that's just what was going on in the back of my mind. Why are these restaurants filled to capacity and so hard to get reservations in, but then when you arrive, there's like no one there but you? So that was really frustrating. Did not like that at all. If you're going to make me have dinner at 9:45 at night, I better see other people in the restaurant. Like, it was just really weird. The fifth thing that I did not like was the language barrier really got frustrating. Most of the workers did not speak any English. And it's funny because one of the people who worked there who I spoke with said to me, if you're trying to relay something important, such as like a food allergy or something like that, a lot of the workers will pretend like they know what you're saying, but he said 9 times out of 10, they're totally faking it. So don't like assume that they understand anything that you're saying, because most of the time they actually have no idea what you're talking about, but they're just pretending like they understand what you're saying. So that was really hard to deal with. And then the sixth thing that I disliked about the Majestic Mirage was they kept their red wine really cold. And I know this is just being kind of overly particular about things, but if you drink red wine, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want it to be ice cold. It's okay to be room temperature. It's okay to be a little bit chilled, but they literally were taking it out of a refrigerator. And again, with the language barrier, it was near impossible to explain to them to give us a bottle of red wine that was not kept in a refrigerator and just something that was like room temperature. So we just kind of got used to drinking the cold wine. And then the seventh thing that I disliked was the food quality was not very good. The only place where I felt the food was really exceptionally good was the restaurants that you needed to have reservations at, which were really hard to get into. The buffets were just barely edible some of the time. And the one thing that we really thought was going to be a home run was just getting a burger. But whoever was making the burgers was not cooking it at all. It was so raw. And I actually follow the Facebook forum, and a lot of people were getting really sick from eating those burgers because they were not cooked at all. And it's funny because me and my mom and my sister had got one, and we cut it in the middle and all realized that there was no way we could eat it. And then we noticed other tables nearby doing the same thing. I saw people like looking and making a disgusted face and shaking their head and saying, how can I possibly eat this? So it was interesting to see so many people were also getting sick from it when I returned home. So the food quality was so-so. It was a little bit disappointing. The eighth thing that I did not like about the Majestic Mirage was, and this has to do with the transfer from Amstar, who I really did enjoy the whole transportation situation. But oddly enough, when you arrived at the resort, the Amstar driver gave you a business card with a time on it, with a person that you needed to meet at the Majestic Mirage on the first, like the following day of your vacation, so that they can tell you what time and where you're going to get picked up for your return home. And I'm thinking to myself, this is my first day of vacation and I have to stop in the middle of whatever I'm doing and go meet with the Amstar driver who's driving me back to the airport to schedule a time. Like, that just seemed ridiculous. And it was really annoying because here we are laying on the beach having a great time, and then we realize, oh, we have to go meet with our Amstar driver to get the time to come back? What? And when we did so, it was basically a ploy to get you to book excursions. They were trying to hard sell you into booking an excursion once you went to where the transportation offices were. So I did not like that at all. I appreciate them having an area where you can book excursions, but I don't like feeling forced to have to go there. So I did not like that. The ninth thing that I did not like about the Majestic Mirage, and this is going to be for many different Caribbean islands at different times of the year, is the Sargassum, and that is all of the seaweed that washes up on shore, and there is really nothing that they can do about that. That's strictly the location and what happens with the weather, but it was pretty bad when we were there. They did have trucks going through in the morning to clean it up, but it was constantly coming in, so you just kind of got used to swimming with the seaweed after a while, but I did not like that at all. And then finally, the 10th thing that I did not like about the Majestic Mirage were the peddlers on the beach, because not only did it get annoying after a while, they were so overpriced. They were asking ridiculous amounts of money to have your picture taken with parrots and monkeys and iguanas. And I felt bad for the animals that they were schlepping up and down the beach all day in the hot sun. I just really felt awful for these animals. I thought it was a horrible thing. And they were charging about, I think it was like $50, $60 a person to get your picture taken with one of these animals. And that's just using your own phone. I thought that was so obnoxious, and they didn't come down in the prices. I've heard people haggling, and they were pretty like, nope, it's $50 a person if you want a picture with this parrot on your shoulder. And then they were also trying to sell massages, which I thought was just kind of nasty. They're like massaging people's feet on the beach, and they're not professionals, you know, and then they're doing one person and then another person, and they're selling jewelry and handbags and bathing suits and cover-ups and just all kinds of stuff. And that kind of went on all day long. They were walking up and down the beach, and I definitely could have done without that. And that is everything. That's everything that I loved and hated about the Majestic Mirage. If you've ever stayed there, please let me know your experience in the comments below. If you're looking to book a trip to Majestic or any other place in the world, definitely feel free to contact me. All of my info is usually linked below, so you could definitely reach out to me. I do work as a travel agent, so I can help you find the perfect location for your upcoming trip. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the information, and I will see you really soon. Take care. Bye.